Hi, good morning, and welcome to the ZP blog and podcast and vlog. So every Sunday at 8 a.m. London time, we do this kind of live streaming of news from Zimmer Peacock for this week, and this is sort of essentially that live streaming. So some international news from ZP this week, that our head of operations in the UK is in India for the next couple of weeks, and so she was able to visit IIT Bombay, the the Indian Institute of Technology in Bombay, and so we were delighted to be able to visit the site and to speak to some of the researchers there. So I just want to say hi to Aftab, who's online this morning. So for many of you, Aftab is one of our supporters at the Developer Zone. I just want to say hi, and as Aftab was pretty aware, then ZP was definitely at IIT Bombay this week, and we were happy to meet our supporters and our friends and future collaborators there. So thank you very much for the warm welcome that we had at IIT Bombay this week. Some other news from Zimmer Peacock this week. It's a little bit of a lengthy article that we've written, but people do come to us, and we do a lot of biosensor development. Biosensor development with ZP can often start with an idea. Sometimes people have just an idea. There's not necessarily paper, literature. There can be. So we sort of trying to break this down into five, and these are fairly big steps, which is, we need some sort of proof of principle if we're going to do a biosensor development. So a proof of principle for us could be, could simply be, going into the lab and just making sure that, scientifically this actually, let's say, it actually works. So we often do a proof of principle with people. We have to then kind of get into quite a lengthy planning phase. I think this is really the part that people intuitively get it, but how many of them actually do it? We actually have to lay out sort of, the Gantt charts and the plans about how we're really going to do this. So we do lay out a kind of planning phase. We do what we call the ZP accelerator. One of the differences at ZP is we generally try to get sensors out of the lab and into the real world as quickly as possible, because you really don't know how robust your system is until you're really using it in the real world. And we call that the kind of ZP accelerator, which is our stack of technologies that can get people into the real world really quite quick. We do try to get people to, we call it MVP, minimally viable product. Now Aftab, who's online this morning, knows that MVP is a very hot thing in like IT and software development, and with an MVP you can do this in sort of software development. So for example, products like LinkedIn and Facebook, their first version of them, they would call them like an MVP, a minimally viable product. Now it's not so easy to do an MVP in the medical space, because it can't be a prototype. It has to have a certain robustness, it has to have a certain reliability. So we do like to do or use the concept of MVP, minimally viable product, in our biosensor development, but we're also sensitive to the fact that you can't do it so readily in medical. People always say to us, I want to do large scale manufacturing, but there's actually several phases of manufacturing. There's what do you need today, and what do you need tomorrow, and what do you need next week. And what I mean by that is, you shouldn't start scaling your manufacturing absolutely immediately, because you just don't have the need, the requirement, the volumes to actually demand all those sensors. So you do have to sort of have a plan of when you're going to do different scales of products. So for us, the first sort of need for manufacturing is really to manufacture the sensors for regulatory requirements. And then when you've been on the market for a little while, hi Ali, nice to see you this morning. When you've been on the market for a little while, then it's time to really do full-scale manufacturing. You know, what at ZP we'll often get contacted by somebody who says, I need 1 million sensors a week, and if you ask the question, how many are you selling today, then the answer is often 0. So they're going to go from 0 to 1 million, very rapidly, which is really not possible. So if you're thinking about developing a biosensor medical diagnostic, it's probably worth just having a quick look through these sort of steps that we've laid out on our website. So that was a sort of technical article that we put out there this week. We haven't done this in a while, and I realise we've been so busy just doing things that we haven't been welcoming new members of the team. But ZP does have some new members of the team, so I put some pictures up of Salah, or a picture of Salah this week, and just wanted to welcome him to ZP, and we're happy to have you. This was I happened to be in our commentary lab this week, and so I just wanted to kind of, when I was in the lab, the guys were actually doing a nice experiment where they were using pumps, they were using a flow cell. In the video I forgot to mention the potentiostat, but it was a nice little assembly, and so we just made a little video about it. I mean, the joy about Zimmer and Peacock, is we do have a lot of kit ready to go. Often, when you're in a lab or you're in a startup, you think, I'd like a flow cell, and therefore you have to kind of go off and develop a flow cell. Often, actually, if you check out our website, you'll find that we already have these things in place anyway. So in the video, we're using a flow cell with a pump. The pump is actually available on our web store. The screen printed electrodes being used for the hypervalue electrodes, and the flow cell is also on our website as well. So it's just a kind of nice, it's also a nice illustration that, I know I say this to Aftab and Ali a lot, but we are the biggest users of our, let's say, products. So it's a slightly unusual business model that, I know, you go to a vendor and you buy something off that vendor, and you might ask them how many times have you used it. And the honest answer is they might have used it in the R&D phase when they're developing the product, but they don't use it. And the thing about Zimmer Peacock is we generally use these products ourselves, so they have to be good because we have to use them. I think this is really quite interesting. We did put out some technical news this week. So, Zimmer Peacock, I would describe us sometimes as an incubator. And what I mean by that is we do support other companies, both with technology, with advice. We support entrepreneurs. It's in our nature to support new entrepreneurs, and so we have a product on our website by a company called Massius Sensors, and they've done a really good job at Massius Sensors of actually making a PCB, a printed circuit board, and they have a gold electrode on there, and they've done their validation where they test a normal PCB as an electrode, and I think they test it with ferricyanide. And I put the data up on LinkedIn, and a gentleman said there, I commented, clearly you've got nickel. And he was right, because with PCBs, they often have a seed layer of, I think it's chromium and nickel. And what will happen is people will have a beautiful looking printed circuit board biosensor, but when you actually test it, you're going to find out that the layers underneath the gold are exposed and coming through. So at Massive Sensors, they've actually, they've got some data on our website, and they actually show now that you can make a PCB, but they've just invented a proprietary process for essentially hardening the gold, and we've now got that on our website. So for some of you who are interested in kind of electronics and the use of PCBs in biosensors, that page might be intriguing to you. I know Ali's particularly interested in kind of water sensing and stuff like that, so I think that will be an interesting technology going in that direction. So a gazelle is obviously a sort of deer-like animal that lives in Africa, but and is known for its kind of speed and its, let's say, its springiness, its ability to jump. Now, they also use the term Gazelle in business, and a sort of Gazelle is a company that is sort of showing profitability or revenues over 4 years. You know, it's a certain size, and it's, you know, the reason I bring it up is because ZP, you know, we received a letter from one of the Norwegian banks recognizing ZP as actually a Gazelle company that, you know, we've consistently shown growth over really more than 4 years. And we've always been profitable, and we've got to a certain size. So it's nice to be recognized as a Gazelle company. I just want to say, Aftab's comment about sensors on PCB is a revolution. I agree with you, because people like to have an integration between electronics and biosensors, and so if you can do the whole thing on a PCB, then you do have the potential to have that kind of integration. So it is good what the guys at Biosensor have pulled off, and my respect to them for that. I said earlier on that, you know, we've been a bit delinquent on not welcoming all the new members of the team, so I've just put a quick picture up this morning of Roa, who's also joined us as well. So Salah and Roa, welcome to ZP. Things grow sometimes so quickly that we just move on too quick. It was also nice to be featured on the on the Swansea University website this week. They were obviously talking about our collaborations at Swansea University, so we did appreciate them putting us there. And then just finally, actually this is relevant to Aftab and Ali. Guys, you'll note that often at the ZP Developer Zone, and often at the these podcasts that vlogs, we do have a guy called Hitchham who he participates very actively, and so this is just a paper that we did with him. I just want to say, in this paper is actually, I've checked out the paper and you can download it, I'm pretty sure, for free. So that was just a little paper that we had done with Hitchham, and thank you to Hitchham for allowing us to be involved in that paper. So as I say, we do this this vlog every week at 8 a.m. London time. So if I was to, it's funny when you look back at the week and you realize how busy you've been. So, you know, this week we've been in India. We've met with IIT Bombay there. We wrote an article because we really needed to address and train more people on how to develop biosensors. So we did a sort of quite a long article on biosensor development. We did have new members of the team, and that was, you know, they've been here a little while now, but we needed to welcome them up. We've obviously been in the lab working on flow electrochemistry. Thanks for the congratulations, Ali. Thank you. We did do some work with Biosensors, and we're very happy that, you know, for their sort of hardened gold PCBs, you know, it was nice to be recognised in the Norwegian business community as being one of the fastest growing businesses in Norway, and I'm happy to be recognised officially on the Swansea University website for bringing essentially jobs to Swansea. And then, yes, we were also in the literature this week because of our paper with Hitchham. And whenever you come to the ZP Developer Zone, I say, you know, collaborations, and you can see that these collaborations do take place. And one of the ZP Developer Zone members will be with us, we think, starting in April. The reason we say that is because of the COVID-19, but we're writing letters of support and bringing them over now. All right, so I want to say thank you very much for, you know, essentially listening to our vlog. We'll be having our ZP Developer Zone webinar on Thursday, as usual. So I want to say a special thank you to Ali and Aftab this morning for dropping the comments and being here, and I hope to see some of you on Thursday. And otherwise, take care, guys, have a nice rest of the day, and I will speak to you soon. Alright, take care, thanks very much.